clicked the wrong button. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for our pre-match build-up show. Me with the buttons. So thank you, every single one of you. This is we're getting clipped anyway.
Oh, no.
The Everton build-up show. I am joined by these three lovely lads anyway. Boys,
Oh,
yeah, do we run it back now? We don't, because we go straight away. I'm joined by Tom May, my good mates, obviously probably one of the most sensible Evertonians. Say that with a straight face anyway. But thank you very much, Tom, for joining me. Spider LFC, you know who he is. And Connor from the Cock Council, you know who those lads are as well. Their links are in the description, so do head over to the lads' socials, subscribe down there as well. And hope you're having a lovely day, morning, night, wherever you are watching around the world. If you're a Liverpool fan or an Everton fan, make sure you do get in the comment section below as well. Starting 11 score predictions, we'll be asking the lads score predictions. Obviously, lineup, we'll discuss that at the back end of the show. But thank you very much, lads, for joining me. Tom, is it still Burnley? Are they winning 2-0 at this moment in time? Is it?
They certainly are, yeah. So it's not looking good for us at the moment.
Yeah, no, which we'll probably discuss, obviously, the league table and everything, mate. But that just adds added incentive, really, doesn't it, mate, for the Ev going into this game. We'll speak about, obviously, the form in which Everton have been showing, especially this season. But we're going to, obviously, the recent meetings between Liverpool and Everton in terms of, obviously, we had that emphatic 4-1 win at Goodison Park on the 1st of December. And then, obviously, Everton, as we all remember, did beat Liverpool at the first time in a very long time since spanning back at least 10 years, even to an extent, really. And obviously, the draw at Goodison, and obviously the 0-0. So Liverpool in recent form, it's been good and bad, but obviously the form guide in which Liverpool are on at this current moment in time, it's really looking positive. But Tom, what are your thoughts going into this game? It's been a very difficult season for Everton from an outside point of view. But I'm not saying you're excited, but is this probably the perfect fixture for Everton, really, to go into off the back of how bad you have been? It can't get any worse, can it?
Nah, well, to be honest, with the recent results, if we do lose, then, we're literally fighting for our lives. Like, say, Burnley beating Southampton 2-0. Yeah. And, we can't bank on other teams to get us out of this position. We have to rely on ourselves. So hopefully, coming into this, we'll be right up for it. But, with Liverpool's performance as well, they haven't been even shifted out of second gear, mate. So I think it's going to be a tough time for us, I think, mate, personally.
Yeah. Spider, how have you taken to what the job in which Frank Lampard has done? I think the home form for Everton this season has been really positive side of his game, but Everton's, as will probably Tom will say, Everton's away form since he's come in they've not really picked up any more points than they had previously.
Yeah, you're dead right there, because I was going to say the same thing. He had a very similar record at Chelsea, where he won a lot of his home games and lost nearly all of the away games in his final term there. But I don't know. I mean, Frank, do we still class him as a young manager? I know he was doing things with Derby and all of that before he went to Chelsea, but I still thought it was too early for him to go to Chelsea. Maybe at a stage, Everton, it's even too early for Everton, to be honest with you. Look, you have to give him time there. They didn't give Rafa time there, which is scandalous, really. I know, it says a lot. Ancelotti came in, and let's call a spade, and he kind of threw them under the bus a bit, because he brought in all of these players to play for him, for them, and then once he jumped ship, everybody just wanted out, and all of a sudden the team didn't want to play, and then it felt like, oh, are we doing anything great here at this club, or because at one point they were on top of the league. Was it the last year? Was it?
Yeah.
And you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, the form just completely dropped away, and now they're battling relegation, not even a season later, you know. So I don't know, like they need to recover from this. They have spent money, but I do think they need a little bit of a rebuild in there. Not too much because they've got some handy players, but they need some confidence. It needs to be injected. A couple of players to come in there and maybe shake it up a small bit might work. But I don't know. I don't know. Frank has got a tough job ahead of him, and you know whether he goes down, he stays down with him. I don't know. It'll be hard. It'll be hard. It's a tough one. It's weird because nobody expected them to be where they are right now. You know. So yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't got into the point of ripping Tom just yet. We're easing them off at the minute, Tom, aren't we?
Just about, yeah.
Connor, off the back of what Spiders said there, really, mate. Your thoughts, chat as well. Let us know how you felt. Do you think, as Spiders alluded to, Rafa, I think we all knew 100% what the animosity that he would generate. Do you foresee or what will be your thoughts on Frank Lampard's stint as Everton manager? For me, it was a bit mad of appointment because I think given the position in which Everton did find themselves in, obviously Frank Lampard's managing a Derby side in which they missed out on promotion very, very closely anyway. But do you think he's having the impact that Everton expected? Or do you think he's underperformed with the current crop of players in which he has got at his disposal?
I think the current crop of players, I know Spider said that they do have, you know, a few very good, decent players there, but you look at that Everton side and it's not filled with, you know, any good players so much. So he's doing kind of good from what he's had. Of course, you know, Everton have been terrible on the pitch and off the pitch as well, and behind the scenes, and that's come out onto the football field as well. You know, if you looked at Everton's runs, you know, was it yesterday or the night before they got a point against Leicester, beating Manchester United. I think a couple of weeks ago, I don't think any of us would have thought that. I thought that, you know, after that Burnley game, then it might have just been, you know, straight up losses for them. But it's like Spider said, Frank Lampard, he normally does that. He did it at Chelsea, wins games at home, and then tends to lose away. So I'd say he's done a decent job up to now. But of course, you know, with Burnley going on to win tonight, again, the pressure's on straight again for Frank Lampard's side. And, you know, again, it's very, very close, isn't it? At the bottom of the table, as you can see there. And they have to win, I think, at least one more game to be, you know, not in the safe bracket, of course, but to have that fighting chance. Because even after this Liverpool game, you look at Everton's running and it's not good whatsoever for them, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Frank and for Everton to stay up.
Yeah, so what you don't want to be put in a situation, as the lads have said as well, mate, from an Everton perspective, you don't want to be getting heavily beaten by Liverpool. Would you say, in terms of, obviously we've seen Liverpool rock up to Manchester, at home this weekend to a Man United side, and we've very much played in second gear. How do you foresee Frank Lampard approaching this game? Going into, obviously it's a massive game for the city, and most importantly as well, me, you, a lot of the Everton fans and Liverpool fans, we love to take the mickey out of each other. It has got a bit sour in recent years, I think, from certain sections of both fan bases, really. Obviously, the bitters take it to a certain extent from, obviously, Liverpool and Everton fans. But how do you think Frank will approach this game? Like any other, but I think when I did watch that Man United Everton game, it was last week or the week before, as Connor alluded to, with the score and the result. That was probably one of the worst games of football I've seen. I know Everton have not been performing to the level in which is expected, the current crop, but how do you think Lampard would go in terms of this weekend's performance, mate?
I hope he gets the players rallied up like he did against Man City. I hope. Because we literally played Man City off the park that game. We defended well, we were passing smooth, 1-2, 1-2, pass smooth, and we put them literally on the back foot. But, saying that, Liverpool, like I said before, they'll find a weakness. They'll find a weakness. They'll expose that, and then they'll stick with it. And we haven't got let's say, we haven't got the best defense at the current moment. We keep shifting it, changing it. Yerry Mina came in last night, and it was an okay performance, but it wasn't what he's usually good at. But as long as they fight for the ball, win everything, and we don't get spanked 4-1 again, I'll be happy.
Yeah, and going on, obviously the players who were speaking to you, me, Everton family members as well, and obviously got me Everton mates. Like one of the probably impressive players in which has been a very disappointing season for Everton, mate, would you say, is obviously this lad, Gordon. I think if it wasn't for this lad, especially in the recent results that you've had positive results, he's been the one positive in which has been quite a negative season, would you say?
Yeah, it's a shame really, because he's the only one that seems to be fighting for the shirt. Well, not the only one, but I think him and Richie are the only ones that have been fighting and playing actually for the shirt, and not just thinking that they're the only footballer that can kick a ball and then get away with murder. But yeah, with him showing heart and actually being from Liverpool, I think he'll be the one that stands out. Or him and Coleman, if he starts Coleman, because he knows the importance of a derby. So these two will, at least get the players rallied up a bit more. I hope.
Well, yeah, as you said, is his final product improved in the last couple of months? Really, obviously he offers quite a lot of pace, and we've seen it with the England under 21s. He offers that Everton that outlet, would you say, especially going into this game?
Yeah, I think he needs to work on slightly more on his finishing, on where certain angles where he's trying to shoot from. Because obviously the Man United one was a bit of a fluke for him, obviously because it came off slabhead. But I think apart from that, he's our main set piece taker now, which last year he wasn't. So that's also a good sign for him. He's taking the free kicks, the corners. He's delivering. All right, last night wasn't the best, but from the whole of the season, he's been fantastic at delivering the ball into dangerous areas. So I hope he can do that on Sunday as well.
Yeah, and this man as well probably doesn't get. Obviously, I know from our fans anyway, especially me and Connor, we wind you up about we don't win, but it's surprisingly, judging from what you and a couple of Everton mates as well said, he's been one of, if not as you mentioned there, similar with Gordon, one of the players that not necessarily everyone expects, but this lad's been putting in a shift. Even if he obviously doesn't bring a lot, obviously he doesn't bring the quality in which is desired at Everton Football Club. But when you're down there, he's trying his best, isn't he? Would you say?
Yeah, bless him. He's like a little dog trying to chase a ball. He doesn't stop running. But I think the problem with the Iwobi is as soon as he gets the ball, instead of passing the first, and he's like, how can I put it? It's just. It takes too long to take a pass, especially when we're going into the box, and I think he needs to work on get the ball out of his feet a bit quicker. But apart from that, he's he does run, and he's a try, and I think this year it shows that we actually want to start more games for Everton than sitting on the bench and being inconsistent. So I think Lampard stuck with him in that sense.
Yeah, 100%. And as you can see there, Luke's gone, get in the Burnley. Get in the Burnley.
Yeah.
Woo, get in, lads.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it 3-0 now, or is it 2-0? Is it finished?
No, it's finished now, yeah.
They had one job. So do we at the weekend. We have one job. But I'll just quickly touch on the Everton point of view as well, Tom, as well, in relation to Calvert-Lewin. I'll ask the other lads what they think of this lad. He's been really disappointing from an outside point of view. The years prior, especially under Ancelotti, he seemed to be really getting into the right areas in relation to obviously scoring goals. When Everton, and given the position in which Everton Football Club do find themselves in, what's happened with this lad this season, mate? Is it been a mixture of injuries, or is it a lack of effort and lack of real quality from his point of view?
Well, I think the injury didn't help him. I think that set him back a bit as well, because I think he didn't want to really, dive into, maybe overstretch a muscle or anything like that, get himself injured again. But I think since Ancelotti's left, he's took literally a back foot and went into like a disguised striking in a way. Like
Sorry, I thought you said disguise. Then hang on, disguise. Yeah, like that one.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's with when he was under Ancelotti, he was playing like pretty much like Inzaghi. He pretty much is like he takes the leftovers of the ball and then he'll be in the back of the net or he'll be in the box. Now you don't really see him. He hovers more like. He's literally on the 18-yard line. He should be in near the 6-yard line, pretty much getting the scraps or getting the header. And I don't really know. Maybe it's a lack of confidence, or maybe he's got a move on his mind or something. Who knows?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Spot on. Hey, Spider, what's your thoughts from an outside point of view? I think because obviously, as I said, we're looking at Calvert-Lewin, and given obviously, as Tom's alluded to, Ancelotti very much coached a lot of great strikers at his time at AC Milan, and seemed to be taking quite a lot of information on board from the Italian. But since he's departed for Real Madrid and under Rafa Benitez, Everton are in the position in which they are, not just because of Calvert-Lewin, but for the fact is they're not scoring enough goals.
Yeah, like he was on top of the goal scoring charts when Ancelotti was there for a point until he took that injury, and I don't know what it is with this lad, man. He's got the talent. It looked like under Ancelotti he was making the effort. He looked like he was undroppable, with when he was there. But then you just don't hear of him now. And I actually, to a point where I completely forgot he was at Everton until you mentioned him, just a couple of seconds ago. And that's because he didn't pop into my head. I watched, as Tom alluded to, Alex Iwobi kind of reminds me of Curtis Jones with us. Has all the ability in the world, but just doesn't know when to release that ball quick enough. But with Calvert-Lewin, I don't know what. Like I've been super impressed with Gordon this season. At least he's putting in a bit of fight. But I just you can't with Calvert-Lewin. I just don't know what you're going to do with him. Maybe a move is the best protocol for him, or as you say, if you put a player like him constantly sitting on the defense and he learns to play that game, he can be a handful for any defense. But he is dropping too deep, and with him dropping too deep, I don't know if that's just tactics to do with. Well, we all know that Rafa is not a good man manager. He's a good tactician and all of that, but he's not a good man manager. And Lampard is the opposite of that. But has he had enough time with Calvert-Lewin to maybe bring him back around to the thinking that Ancelotti had him playing when he was playing that way for Ancelotti? But you put him on a defense and keep the pressure, then less teams will attack Everton as often. But it just seems like they're just bypassing the midfield because they're all bunched up, and there's a couple of lads bunched up in the left and right midfield areas that drifted a bit too far forward. And on top of Calvert-Lewin, he's playing because he drops back too far back. And then what you've got is a ball just bypassing them straight through the middle, and there's three players on the opposition team just waiting to pick it up, and then there's 1-2 touching passing and going past Everton, or just like a simple pass through the wall. But yeah, it's just I don't know I don't know what you do with Calvert-Lewin. He's an enigma for me at the moment. I don't know how I'd coach him. I don't know how I'd sit down and I wouldn't know what to say to him, except for stay on the defenders. Even if you're offside 20 times in the game, don't come back. We don't need you. Just we need an outlet up there to trap the ball. So and maybe it'll help him going forward. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, just spot on there, mate. In terms of chat, keep on getting comments in as well. Andrew's got a good question in a little second to get to that, mate, as well. But interesting points that Spiders picked up on there, Connor, in it. I'll ask Tom in a little second, but is it Lampard's inability to coach Calvert-Lewin? Obviously, he's in the early stages, Lampard, of his management career, but would a better coach for today get more out of, similar to what Ancelotti did do in his brief spell at Everton?
Yeah, 100%. If you look at Real Madrid this season, and look at Vinicius Junior, how Ancelotti has progressed his career going forward, I think, like as Spider said, last year we were seeing Calvert-Lewin in the striker position, like, hanging on that last man, going for everything. And this season, I know he's been plagued with injuries, but he just doesn't look like the same player. And Frank, he couldn't do it with Timo Werner when he signed for Chelsea last. When he was at Chelsea, he didn't know what his best position was, and that was meant to be his marquee signing for Chelsea. And I think that's the similar thing with Everton as well. Not so much this season as well. We're talking about a rebuild for Everton after this season. Next season, it's going to be interesting to see, not on so much of a much higher budget than Chelsea in terms of, because Everton are going to have to, they're going to have to plan their money out over the next few years.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how he will cope as a manager doing that. And can he then get the best out of the players that are there at the minute? You look at someone like Damari Gray at Everton, midway through the season. Yeah, very, very talented player. Scored against us in the opposite game earlier on the season at Goodison, and for a big period he was their best player. And you'd think that he would be able to take him and move him forward, but so far, he hasn't been able to do that as much. And maybe it will take a couple more years for Frank to realize that, and maybe even get help from someone else, an assistant or someone else from out there. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to know Tom's thoughts on this. Does Calvert-Lewin, even if Everton do stay up, does Calvert-Lewin have to leave Everton to get to his full potential? Because I know Arsenal fans have been going on about signing him and that since back last year. So I don't know whether or not if he could do it at Everton, or does he have to go somewhere else to be able to get the best out of himself?
Yeah, good question there, mate. Spot on, Tom.
I think Lampard does have the the right managerial how to get a striker to perform, because he regardless he might have when he did sign Timo, he did do it with Tammy Abraham, remember, and Tammy Abraham was flying when he was at Chelsea. But I don't know, maybe he's just. I think it's probably more of a mindset with Calvin. I think if he does go and then becomes one of the great strikers, if he did go to Arsenal and he was banging the middle, left, right, and centre, then we'll be like, all right, we've lost one of the greatest strikers that would ever probably played for Everton. But on the hindsight, if he doesn't perform and he's always injured, then we'll be laughing and say, well, that's a bargain for us if we sell him for 50 million. So, but I think, like you said, I think there's a lot of dead wood in Everton. So it is going to take a lot of time for Lampard to get the players that he wants to actually, form a proper team that he wants. Regardless on the money situation, it's probably going to be like a probably swap deals to get rid of half the players, because there's no way we can sign anyone, because the financial fair play is it's not being well on our side, because we've been through several different managers and they've all spent ridiculous amounts of money, and half the players who haven't even played half a season.
Yeah, even Dele Alli as well, mate, and that's a whole bloody show in itself.
Sorry about that, but I think there's a tactician to that Dele Alli deal. I think I could be wrong on this, but I think he's doing this on purpose with Dele Alli, because if on the deal is if he performs, then we have to pay the 40 million. If he doesn't perform, we don't pay nothing. So if he doesn't play, they can't say, well, he's been performing. So I think he's saving that for next year to say, right, we don't pay nothing, then we've got him.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Spot on there, boys. Get to all your comments as well. Keep getting them in. You've got any for Tom or any for the lads as well? you want to discuss on tonight's show, get them in and make sure you do smashing that like button and the subscribe button if you are new anyway. Get in Burnley, Lou. Everton could be in the bottom 3 before the game versus Liverpool. Everton Football Club. Could they? Have Burnley got another game there, Luke? Obviously, back that up as well. Burnley fan checking in, fresh off 3 points. 420 fails. You're absolutely buzzing there, mate. Thank you for tuning in. I have a question for Tom. What do you think the squad? Obviously, transfer window opens in June. For me, you have to get rid of, obviously, he's just mentioned there, but won't dwell too much on it, Tom, but what players in your mind stick out in relation to the players that have really frustrated you, and do you think that have really frustrated the Everton fan base this year?
Yeah, I think Keane's been a bit disappointing this year. All right, he's not the best defender, but in recent years he's always looked solid. But I don't know, he's not been too well. He doesn't know his left to his right half the time. Alan as well. I think he's aggressive. I think he's underperformed this year. I think he has. I think he's he's meant to be this like defensive midfielder, and I don't think he is. I think he just wants to run around and just snap people's legs half the time. But also, a Iwobi Calvin
to say something there. Yeah.
I could see.
No, I was just thinking that like Everton are in a difficult place now, not because of the amount of money they spent, because they did bring a couple of handy players in. I mean, Townsend's a handy player, so he can come up with goals whenever you want, and he's a good squad player to have. But it's coming to the point where it's like it's kind of like what's happened to United recently. They buy a lot of experienced players that they'll play for like the big manager that brought them in, and all of a sudden there's a manager that they don't know is in there and that they don't kind of respect or see the same level, and then their quality level drops and they'll just coast. And that's kind of what it looks like to me with Alan a bit, and but it's just they were in danger of just having, I don't know, I miss the days when it was more of an on-par kind of battle, but I don't miss the days when we were kind of worse, if you get me. So I would have liked to see Everton kind of come up. I like the fact that they were on top of the league a couple of seasons. I was like, yes, are we going to have a title challenge with Everton because City aren't playing the greatest, But then I said that'd be a great season to watch. The banter will be brilliant and all of that. But it's just, man, I don't know if they go down this season. There's only one bonus from that, and that's the fact that everything can only hold it over us that they never went down. And that's the only bonus that thing is gone. Because for me, there's no banter for a season. I was
going to say, would you be disappointed to see Everton go down? Chat as well. Let me know. I'll ask Connor.
I don't know. I'm between two ferns, to be honest with you. I want to see it happening because I want to give them a wake up call to come back up and be a better club. But on the other hand, I don't. They're too big of a club to be going down. To be honest with you, so and it'd be a shame to see it. But it happened to Newcastle, and it happened to Aston Villa. So
Leeds went down for a very long time as well. So
I don't know.
100%. Con, chat. Let us know. Would you be happy or glad to see Everton go down? As bitter as you are, some of you in the chat, I know you and me as well. But.
I'm exactly the same as Spider. I'm 50-50 on it. I'd be happy to wind up Tom for about 2-3 months about it anyway. But it's those games, isn't it? You always look at the Man United. You always look at the Merseyside derby every single season when the fixtures come out. But I think if Everton did go down, I think it might be that similar phase where either they would stay in the Championship for a few years, or it might be like how some teams have gone down to the Championship, like Wolves. They went down to the Championship, went down to League One, rebuilt themselves from the ground up, and then come back an even better team in the league. So I think that might happen if they was to get relegated. But I'm 50-50 on it, but yeah, I would like to wind Tom up about it all day.
No Ben sitting on this channel, lad. Say it.
They might actually win the league title if they went down. You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the Johnson Straight, the Pizza Hut trophy or whatever it's called, like the St. Patrick trophy or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It just reminds me of Liverpool and Everton now. It reminds me of Mr. Bean and that dude that drives around and Reliant Robin. Isn't it like that? You know, they're always there, they're always happy, and all of a sudden just something comes along and it just drives them insane. They're upside down in their arse. You know, it's just that's to me is where Everton's been for the last few seasons. It's there's a mindset of you fans. It's no disrespect to the fans. It's just that they are a big club, and the mindset is still there of being a big club, but there hasn't been a trophy there for this 1985.
We all know.
We all know what it is. You know, it's been a long time, and I think there's an expectancy there that if the fans didn't get on the team's back so much as what I've seen, I know they're down in a bad position, but even when they were doing well or whatever, there was still a lot of, you know, you could see it. There's a lot of animosity there. There's a lot of, you know, between some fans and other fans are just there. They know what
it's in that with having Rafa, as we said, mate.
Yeah. It's just if they didn't focus on those points rather than just supporting the bloody team, then, you know, it wouldn't be so tiresome for the players and the day-to-day for the deal with, and they wouldn't be down where they are and drained looking, because that's the way it is for me. They're focusing on the wrong elements of the club and the wrong elements that are happening with the Rafa stuff and all of that, and they should have just focused on the players and supported them and showed on the pitch, and maybe they'd be in a better position right now. That's what I'm saying. It's just draining mentality, you know. That's what it is for me. It just drains you out of the club, drains your energy, drains your ability, drains your want to win. You know, it does everything.
Yeah, Everton's, and some I know this best anyway, from an outside point of view, and this as well. Most of Merseyside families are half a half, like half Liverpool, half Everton. But Everton is one of, if not one of the best grounds in the Premier League when the ground's bouncing it, Tom. And as Spider said there, obviously it's not been the best stomping grounds over the last 12 months, but and that's what Lampard is trying to gauge, and we've seen that with the results. Obviously, we've seen in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, 100%. Goodison, when it's in song and when it's positive, it is one of, if not one of the best atmospheres and one of the best stands. It's like similar with Anfield. Anyway, I know Anfield's been regenerated really in terms of the expansion of the stands, but it's still a great side to go to anyway. But we'll get to everyone's comments as well before we do move on anyway. How you doing, Dan La? Absolute legend. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Hope you're having a lovely night anyway, matey. Let me know, everyone, your score predictions as well. And your starting 11. Luke, can't wait for Frank to mount a Klopp again. It'll be interesting to see. But I think if he did, mate, Luke, that would be more or less playing to Liverpool's hand. We've seen Mikel Arteta already do that in the Premier League a couple of months ago, and it just flipped the whole blood. Not that Liverpool were playing bad within that game, but it just give us that added incentive really to go and get those 3 points. It'd be more or less suicide if Frank Lampard had the bottle to do that again, because maybe playing with fire. Frank's going to the Championship. Pills he's absolutely made up anyway that the Burnley have got 3 points. But but are you a Liverpool fan, Pills? Anyway, he's absolutely buzzing. In my opinion, best Everton team that I saw against us in the derby was Moyes' team when they had Baines, Howard, Cahill, and etc. Tom, I'd agree with Andrew, but judging from what has been to you and all my Ev mates, was it that period in which Martinez had, after back of the Moyes era, that blend of obviously defensive with the Martinez attacking brand of football, would you say, Tom?
Yeah, you know, when Moyes, obviously when Moyes was there, he had the passion, and he was there a long time, you know what I mean? Yeah. He got us out of a ruck and, you know, got us into the top 4 and that. And, you know, he knew what a derby was. You know, he wanted you to go in. He wanted you to win everything, no matter what, win or lose, as long as you tried. That was it. That's a derby. And when Martinez came in, it was kind of similar, but I think it was the last derby under Martinez. You kind of seen a kind of difference, you know, mentality ways. It was more, you know, it wasn't
taking your bellies.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it wasn't the best. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Burnley host Wolves Sunday at 2 p.m. Draw and would be enough. Interesting there. Look at Wolves are a weird team. It's a weird team anyway. Similar to Southampton. They as we were saying before we come on air, they are literally on the beach already, and you can't blame them. They've got really nothing to show. I was a bit gutted that they got slapped up. Was it Chelsea that got that Chelsea slapped up anyway, or whoever beat them in the FA Cup in the last round? Give Lampard time to rebuild in the Championship. I don't know if Eamon's being sarcastic there, or even trying to be serious, but it's 50-50 with Eamon, But I'd agree with your comment there, mate, anyway, but it's not ideal what Everton want, but it's weird, as we've already 38 minutes in, and we've already discussed that. Fergie was right. Go back. Everton have built. Everton have been brilliant, Tom. Don't lie. Luke, let's get the 3 points and be happy with one, though. Jack, like, great content. Up the mighty Reds, and hello to Connor as well. Thank you very much to every single one of you that is tuning in. Absolute legends.
Jack, just to kind of put a point on Tom's thing there, he was dead right in what he said about, the way David Moyes' team used to play with Cahill and all of that. The difference is now, he probably has a better quality of player now in Everton than what they did back then on the ball. But the difference is, as he said, is the heart, is the passion for the game and the team. And that team, especially Cahill, I hated watching him. And if you hate a player in a derby on a team, it's because they're passionate about their team. So I mean that for me is why Cahill was a great player. You had even going back to the days of Duncan Ferguson. These lads were great, and for the team, but they weren't the lads that would be worldies individually. But that was the difference, and that's the point I was alluding to. Tom, he was spot on with that. But it's not just even around David Moyes; it's the mentality that he created at that club, and it didn't continue after he left, and that's a shame for Everton, really.
100%.
Yeah, we had players with attitude. We had Fellaini, who was like he was a bit dirty. Even Jelic was a good player, but a little bit dirty as well.
Yeah.
We had even Phil Neville. All right, as much as we gave him stick the first time he came,
he wants to be a Phil Neville.
But it doesn't matter. He won our hearts when he crunched Ronaldo.
Exactly.
That says a lot. We had players that actually, like you say, don't want to be worldies. They actually want to play for the shirt and they want to perform. But now it's just, you've got Gomez, you can't even play. It's mad.
Get Tony a bit playing right back, lad.
I'd happily take him back.
If
it scores, we riot.
Yeah, I remember seeing the news as well when you buzzing that people were like going mad on his testimonial, weren't they? Was it like he scored a free kick or something?
So what was it? I went to that as well. Scored a free kick and everyone just ran onto the pitch. Stewards were flying off everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's mad daft. Keep on getting your comments in as well. Absolute bloody legends. Everton should not be in this situation 100%. Getting Rafa was not the best move. Everyone knew it, yeah. Eamon, similar to Man United, Eamon, and then chat. Obviously, the people running these clubs, they've got all the powers, but they haven't got the bloody brains. Quite frankly, really. But we're going to obviously the recent form, Tom. Be the first time since 1986. Was it that Everton done the back-to-back at Anfield?
Oh, back-to-back, yeah, 89.
Yeah, in the Premier League. 86 or around that time period anyway. I think it was when you did win the league around that period. But what have you got any hope for this game?
Probably not, no. Not at all.
Just have to put that one in.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see why, because look at his little T-Rex arms there.
Everyone do the T-Rex.
But you know what? Like I say, as long as he, fight for it, like they've done against City, like I said before. And even if we lose 1-0, I'd be happy with it. At least they show fight for it, and it's not, like another stupid decision where we should have got a penalty. Just saying. But I can't be dealing with it getting spanked and having news or messaging me if my phone's getting turned off in that match, by the way. So
yeah, I bet it is, lad. But yeah, no, Con. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jurgen Klopp does approach this game, Con, in terms of obviously the rotation. Do you foresee Jurgen rotating quite a lot of the players, or do you think he'll go full strength in terms of, obviously we've got the Villarreal game very soon coming up, but how do you foresee Jurgen Klopp approaching this game in terms of team selection and from a tactical sense?
Well, I think, of course, rotation will be key for the game. Of course, it depends how Jurgen sees it. Of course, I think the first leg against Villarreal is at Anfield, so that's somewhat of a help. But I think, look, this game, it's going to be, even though, of course, Everton are, not the best at the minute, it's going to be a gritty game, and you need. I think he'll go reliable for this. I think there's a reason why Bobby Firmino's name was getting mentioned, of course, because I think he missed out against Manchester United due to a slight injury. So I think he's probably going to be the one in there. I think midfield, I think he'll most likely be the same. I think it's just going to be, maybe 3 changes for it. We might see, a Canate maybe. We might see, I know people have said Tsimikas potentially as well for Robbo, to give Robbo a rest. And as well, I think, Jota, Firmino as well, they're going to need minutes in their legs. And of course, we haven't even mentioned Divock Origi. He loves a goal against the Ev. So, yeah, I think there will be some rotation in here, but I don't think there will be, the 6 and 7 changes that people think that there'll be. For it, I think, like we said in other previews, I think the squad now is going to be compact to the final, 15, 16 players for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I think maybe 3 or 4, but I don't think Jurgen's going to change it drastically.
Yeah, Spider, would you concur with Connor?
Yeah, I'm starting to laugh at Luke Burns' comment there down the bottom. That's just.
Oh yeah, I ain't going. What do we see? Yeah. We'll see how. Yeah. Right, especially in my bed, it's single bed as well. So.
Right. So for me, starting level wise, look, when Klopp does the rotation thing, he does it in defence. It's mainly Van Dijk that stays in, and the right centre back swaps and Robbo swaps, so if it's probably the logical swap you're going to see. I don't know if Gomez is fit for that, but for me, if there was a choice and Everton are that poor, and Klopp has played weaker teams against the stronger Everton in the last few seasons, but because of how close we are to City, and he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to take the risk and just, that's the only reason why I'd say he would only go, as Connor said, with only about 4 changes or something like that. But for me, if I had a choice, I would, there's an option to start Gomez and Canate in there, and stick Tsimikas left back with Trent this time on the right back after getting rested in the previous resting sesh. But in the midfield, I know it's a derby, but I would like to see Keita come back in, Hendo to get a rest to play on against Villarreal in the midweek, and have Thiago, Fabinho, and Keita in there again for this game. Up front, you're more than likely you might see Diaz get dropped, Jota being brought in, and I know Bobby's meant to be back for this because he had a problem with his foot, I think.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
So if he's back for this, he might get a run out afterwards, and you could really rest one of those front 4 indefinitely for the game. But you could probably see a Mane, Jota, and Salah starting there, because you're going to want to nick early goals, and then you can rest these guys, bring them on, and have a player like Bobby to kind of be an extra midfielder, really, to kind of come on and protect that midfield as well. But that's not many changes I would make. You're probably going to see Canate come in for Matip again. You're going to see Tsimikas maybe come in for Andy Robbo, but Robbo loves the derby. And so it's hard to see, but for me, you're more likely going to see probably either likes of Hendo or Thiago drop both for a Keita, just to kind of have that, again in the midfield, and you might see Jota starting this time over either Mane or Diaz, because I think Salah back to score and he's not going to drop him. So yeah.
Yeah, chat, get your starting 11 in the comment section below. We'll run through a couple, all of them anyway. Tom, from an Everton perspective, if you were picking who do you reckon Frank Lampard will start? Enemy is just come back, as mentioned, the game prior to the Liverpool Everton game. He's massive through your point of view. Obviously, we were mentioning Keane before, not having the best of seasons. I think Everton fans, from their point of view, would be very happy if he stayed clear from the start 11 till now come the end of the season. But who would you, and who do you reckon, or who would you like personally to start the game against that would foresee have hopefully the desired impact and the attitude?
Well, obviously Pickford and goal. We can't really change that. Regardless as everyone rips into him as T-Rex arms and think he's a shit keeper. I think he's actually probably got us out of jail a few times.
Just not that game. Wait, what?
Yeah, just not that game. Yeah, unfortunately. Coleman on the right. Then you got Godfrey, Yeri in the middle. Michalenko on the left. Allen. I hope it goes with the core, because he's a box-to-box midfielder, and we probably need that as well.
What's happened with him, mate? Recently,
I don't know. I think Lampard's is probably
not get the best out of him. Would you say?
Yeah, I think his passing in the recent games that he has been playing has not been up to scratch to what he usually is. So I think that's why he's probably been dropped, and probably gave the likes of a Iwobi who's going to run round for you all day long and chase the ball. So I'd like to see the core and then Iwobi. Yeah. I've got a feeling Richie on the left, Coleman on the right, Gordon on the right, and I'm going to say he's going to put Rondon on the top.
Big R Rondon.
He came on last night and he put a shift in.
He got an assist, didn't he, for the goal? Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. But he's got that physical power to, he was doing pretty much like what Fellaini and Cahill used to do. Knock the head backwards and Richarlison ran onto it. I've got a feeling.
Have you been playing two striker formation, lad, or has it been a 4-3-3?
Well, it's been everything by the looks of it. Yeah. You just don't know where half the players are playing half the time. So I think the players make their own formation up. But usually it's like a 4-3-3 or like a 4-4-2 by the looks of it. But then they all just change. But I hope it's that formation.
Yeah, nice one, last. So I'll go with Charlie. Let us know if you haven't already got any starting 11s in as well. As Connor and Spider alluded to, I'd love to see Kostas come in, especially for me. Obviously, Robbo wouldn't want to get dropped, but I don't think we'll see there's never a drop in quality when you bring in Kostas. We've seen that in the Champions League, obviously, reverse fixture for Benfica. I think he got 2 assists within that game, so I'd have no qualms of him coming in. So I'd go with Kostas just to keep Robbo fresh for the Champions League and obviously the next future, because I think getting the right balance with the players. So I'd go Kostas left back, Trent coming in. I'd go with Kanate and Virgil van Dijk, even though Matip did play in the match just gone, and then go with Thiago, Fabinho, and then Naby. And then I'd go with Diaz on the left, Jota, Bobby through the middle, and then Salah. But it's the options. That's my starting 11 chat as well. But yeah, as Luke said, little arms. Tony Abbott needs to come back. Well, we're saying about that, mate, don't we? What's for dinner? Do you need a permit to be a footballer? Asking for Jürgen. As well. Well, he was in the Jürgen's bar, one in town. I think he pulled up, the madman. I think he pulled up in the Liverpool team bus. Mate, imagine if Jürgen turned up outside of one of our gaffs. You never know. Jürgen, if you're watching, that'll be a birthday present for me. Birthday's in June, if you want to, lads. Get him on a post-match or pre-match as well.
Is that a
But yeah,
hint?
you
Yeah.
yeah. He doesn't give a fucking toss what I think, mate. He's like, fuck off, McKinnell, with your post-match. But like, we'll get to all your comments as well, and then before we go into obviously score predictions as well, I'd like to know what Frank Lampard did to the 11 players between United and Leicester, where the squad's having a jolly on Formby Beach. Tom, like it's the thing in at consistent levels. We were saying that at the top of the show. Similar. I think there's quite stark similarities in terms of the attitude from the Everton players and the Manchester United players. As obviously what has said there. What is? Do you know? What does it feel from an outside point of view, being an Everton fan? Tom, what is it? Is it quality, or is it just the attitude, or that a mix of both?
I think it's a mix of both, to be honest, mate. Let's put it, the United game, like, that's two poor teams were playing that day, and we managed to get like the luckiest goal ever, but it is 3 points. Leicester, we played much better. First half, we weren't that good, but the second half, we came out fighting. I think this is more of the issue that you can see now is the first half, if we don't score, then the second half, you can always guarantee that we're going to try, regardless if the score's only 1-0. If we're losing 2 or 3, then you just forget it. We'll try and fight back and probably make it to a 3-2. But the second half, you can always rely on us to, at least score a goal and get back into something.
Yeah, 100% there, mate. Niles tuned in. Absolute legend there. Hello, Jack and panel. Hope you're having a cracking evening, everyone. To be honest, no one knows what Everton play. As well. Luke's gone with an 8-0. What's for dinner's gone with 9-0. Yeah, that's bloody hell. I'll tell you what. Everyone's all the Everton social media accounts will be getting shut down for that night. I don't think we will see Tom for the good couple of weeks anyway. My starting 11 is the under 23s and the media blackout on the blue side of Merseyside. Just kidding, Tom. Well, it was this lads as well, Connor, as we were mentioning team selection. Where is he? Good old Curtis Jones. Did you see him playing? He's got a good habit of playing against the Everton, scoring some absolute bloody Walesies, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he does. Little cross turn in top right corner, so it looks very nice for Curtis Jones against the Ev. But no, I don't think he's in the frame to start. Wouldn't be against it, but I think obviously Thiago performing the way that he's doing at the minute, probably the best player, best midfielder in the league at the minute. Fabinho and Hendo as well. Then you've got Keita, the next one from that as well. So I wouldn't be against Curtis Jones starting, but I do think that now we're most likely to see, Thiago, Fabinho, and then a mixture then of Hendo, maybe even Curtis as well, and Naby then on the right side.
Yeah, Spider, would you be up for? I'd love to, especially a game of this magnitude as well, mate. As Connor's alluded to, and the lads and everyone already in chat tonight. These are the games that you can't allow passengers, because if you allow passengers within a game of this magnitude, it can get really seriously concerning for that player involved, because this will be, as Tom's alluded to, what Tom and a lot of the Everton fans are going into this game, regardless of the result, they want a performance. And Curtis Jones, he's got that good arrogance and confidence about his game. He's a scouser, he lives and believes it. Probably gets a load of shit off the Everton fans as well. When he goes in and around town and walking around the city with his family as well. So he'll be up for this, won't he?
Ah, yeah, like he'd enjoy the game. Of course he wouldn't. He'd be up for it. I mean, I would any day of the week I would rather Curtis Jones more than. So I wish he had the same ability as Thiago to be able to be on that pitch. He'd be. You always want Scousers in the team, like first and foremost. I mean, it's what Liverpool Football Club is built on. Is Jocks, Irish and Scousers especially. Yeah. So like, so anyway, the with Curtis Jones inside in the team, I don't know if he'll start. Will he start?
Sorry, lad. It was like my mum. I thought we had put music. Mum's like,
I get
"You'll be
the same
fitting
with my
this."
missus. They walk in the door and my missus is the same. You walk in the door. Are you finished yet? And I'm just like, no. Do you see me talking?
Sorry, everyone. Your mum does like to make an appearance. You just interrupted Spider in a very important point.
No, you're all right. You're all right. But it's just have a cup ready for me when I come over. Right? But like, but the Jones, we're back to Jones. I would love to see Jones starting the team every week, but you can't. Thiago's that good, Fabinho's that good, Henderson is that strong as a captain, Naby Keita is coming into unbelievable form, and I want to see Jones drive on. Jones is the future of Liverpool Football Club. I can't see him playing anywhere. You know, he needs to learn from these lads. He needs to put a head on his shoulders because he's got the confidence, he's got the bravado, he's got the skill on the ball. But sometimes he's as I said, my only qualm with Curtis Jones is his delay passing. So instead of you take those 2 touches, the pass is on, it's right there. And then Trent is away or Salah's away, but then he kind of goes, no, I look this way, and then no, I look back, no, wait, and then he plays the pass, and then they're already closed down, and that's too late, And I've been watching him now for the last couple of seasons, and he's one of my favorite young fellas to ever come through Liverpool because he's swaggy, he's got great skill. That goal against the Ev, obviously, but once I see that drop out of his game, I think he'll be world class. To be honest with you, in that Liverpool squad, I think going forward, he's a perfect replacement for Hendo if he learns from him. On that side, he can play on that right hand side, because it's locked on by Thiago and Keita on the left hand side of midfield, and it's Hendo that needs not the competition, but he needs the backup, and Jones is the perfect candidate for that, along with Naby Keita, obviously. But we didn't know whether Naby Keita was going to be here next season or not. He's just come back into form. He's looked the best Naby that he possibly can. So I still have to think back to before Naby was playing well, and for me it was Jones. Harvey Elliott's still a young kid, so he's learning. He'd get a few games in this season, next season. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's a massive Liverpool supporter as well. So
scouting our team, man.
Yeah. So Jones there would be brilliant if he can link up well in that position with the likes of Trent and Salah going up that right hand side. If he can just stick to that kind of game and track back when he needs to, press when he needs to, that's great. But when we're on the ball, we're not a team that dwells and holds the ball and then tries to hold it for 5 minutes and then pass it across, pass it back, look for it. We're a team that tries to penetrate an awful lot. And as much as we are possession-based, we're not as possession-based as City. So we try to pass the ball a lot quicker than what City do. Yeah. And that's what he needs to do. If he can just get out that delayed passing mindset out of his game, if he can just see the pass before he receives the ball and just realizes it's not the Curtis Jones show. It's that's kind of what it is to me. It's just naivety and a youth player that has a lot of confidence. That's all it is.
Yeah, it will be the Curtis Jones show. If he scores a worldie.
He will, against, he can have it.
Yeah, but I understand to agree with mate. He's a young lad, and we all know this. But I just wish Curtis didn't have Twitter or not, because some of the muppets, some of the shite you do see on social media after the Curtis Jones, he's trying his best, and as Spider said, it's all about his development, and I think people just expect him to be on a level in which we do find Trent in currently. Trent is world class at this moment in time in his position. As Spider says, he's got the qualities, and he will hopefully potentially be world class one day, but he's still only 20. I think people expect too much far too soon, really. And I wish he was given the opportunities Ox has been given over the last couple of years, because I'd be interested to see where Curtis Jones' game time would be in terms of his game management. But some cracking comments here as well. Keep on getting them in chat as well. Luke, great stream. Great stream, guys. Stay positive, Tom. Next season, we'll be back winning games in. I thought that was going to be a positive one there, Luke. I thought, and then as soon as I started going, then Luke's comment come through. Then
you not realize it's not Tom that you're catching with this. You're catching Jack with this, because he's positively reading a good post, and then he didn't get to the end until he reads the full. And then by the time he gets in, he's like, easy of Alexis,
Yeah. What's the difference? I agree with that as well. Nice one, mate. Trying to improve the channel in every aspect, mate, as well. Made up the lads coming on and every single one he's tuning in every single bloody night anyway. Growing, the community's growing. We just love talking football as well. I know we have banter with Tom, but all of us just love football and speaking about Liverpool and just football in general, mate. But big up Ravi as well. Thank you for tuning in, fella. Every single one of you is absolute bloody legends. Should Thiago play against the Ev? I think Spider, me, and I think all of us had agreed. Similar this would be another piss day, you'd hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it'll be. I can definitely see Thiago playing up to 60 minutes against the Ev because he's going to be so crucial against that low block of Villarreal. But again, up until then, he's going to dominate that midfield again. The game, the game earlier on this season against the Ev, he took that midfield battle. And what was brilliant with it, I think he might have got an assist as well. I think it was maybe Mo's goal back at Goodison. But yeah, look, that Man United performance, like we've said, on my channel, your channel, everyone's channel, it was one of the best midfield performances we've seen in a very, very long time. And I think, look, he is, when Thiago, we're now seeing the best of Thiago Alcantara in a Liverpool shirt, and he could even be better than the Bayern Munich Thiago Alcantara. So, but yeah, I think we'll see probably 60 minutes of Thiago, and then it might, we might see a Jordan Henderson, we might even see a Curtis Jones come on and replace him.
Yeah, 100% there, mate. I've just seen the other Tom's comments as well. Bloody hell, like, get in. Where is it? Where's the bloody gone? I'm not excited to show it. Evening panel, all you LFC legends on here tonight. Hope everyone is doing well. We won for our blue Tommy. I set my expert password to Everton's defence. It was too weak. I was like, I love that one. Much love, lad. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, matey, as always. Tom, sorry, but that's terrible. Tom is a legend. Well, both Toms are legends. Tom on the panel as well. Good mate of mine. Anyway, don't get us started on that, boys. It's the only Reds hoping. I'm the only one hoping the Blues stay up. I don't care, but yeah, I think I was in that boat as well, mate. As much as I think if you go back in a couple of my videos this season, I was looking really positive, but I would miss getting 6 points every single season anyway. It's a similar, but everyone, let's make sure to get it. Make sure I haven't missed out anyone's comments anyway. But I've spoke about the Egan, good out Thiago, Mo Salah, the concluding factor as well. Spider, he scored in reverse fixture early on in the season a couple of months ago, and judging from his post-match reaction, his own post-match reaction on Sky, he can't wait to play against the Afghani.
Yeah, just see, when he was saying it next to Thiago, and he was telling him like, we've got Everton. We if you do it against Everton on the weekend, you're going to be, that's it. Like, they're building a statue for you. That's pretty much what he was saying. Like, he knows how big the game is. He understands how big the game is. There's nobody going to tell him. He knew himself, even when he was in not the greatest form for us in the last few games. I mean, a few seasons ago, I remember he went, what was it? It was 11 games without scoring or something.
Yeah.
And then he scored against Southampton, which was a fantastic solo goal. But now it comes back, scores 2 against United, and he's just saying, I knew I was going to score. I don't know what the worry was, It's just that sometimes we don't score, sometimes we don't, but I just know what my quality is. I know that I can score goals for this club, and I know that it's not a mental or a mindset thing. He just says, sometimes you get it, or sometimes you get the chances, sometimes you don't, and that's it. And he knows what it is. He's not even second guessing it. He scored 2 yesterday. Mo Salah is a world-class player. He's the best player in the world right now. People were saying recently that Sadio Mane is my favorite player for Liverpool. He has been in the last few seasons. But Salah's on a different planet again. And if we have 2 people that are talking about being the best player in the world, and there's not a mention of Messi and Ronaldo in the same sentence, then I'm happy if they're both playing for Liverpool at the same time. So, like,
how many goals is he getting then?
Oh, I'd like to see him get a hat trick this weekend. I think I'd like to see him go for it. But I think that we've a lot of look what we just did to Manchester United. We each individual forward assisted a different forward at the same time.
How many is he getting, Tom? How many is he getting?
Each forward assisted a different forward throughout the game, and then Jota comes on and assists for Salah again, which means that all 4 forwards that played all got assists for players. And the only difference is that Salah got assisted by 2 of them, So yeah, it's a ridiculous stat. But this is the best Liverpool side, only for City. This is the best Liverpool side that ever existed. Enjoy it, soak it up, whether they're buying leagues, and I say straight out, that's exactly what they did before. It's exactly what we know what it is.
Newcastle will be doing it as well in a couple of years.
There's more washing going on in that club than Daz. So you know what I mean. So like that's for me. That's what it is, and I think that we get more. Whether they win the titles or not, in the people that are living currently in this, we get more respect than Man City do as a club. Not just because of our history and that, but just because of the way we play and because of how we did it. Being 14th in the all-time spending in the spending all-time in the Premier League era, that's ridiculous. That's great stats. Jurgen Klopp is doing it for that, and it is down to Jurgen Klopp mainly and the team of the lads that are there and the background staff and stuff like that. So you have to give him all the credit there. Sorry, I leave you read out that town and it looks like funny.
No, it's just it's Tom there. Sorry, Tom. They are my 2 favourite Toms. I think we've only got 2 Toms in the comment section below. Most apologies if there's another person that's called Tom that watches the videos but doesn't comment. All the Toms, every Tom's a legend on this channel. But yeah, now it's all good banter anyway, and pretty sure we won't hear the last of it, especially if the Reds don't get 3 points. Oh mate, so we'll be getting it. Gary, hi-oh, how you doing, Gary, as well? Con, how many goals is Mo getting before we do shoot off?
2. I think you'll get 2 goals and an assist. I think. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to say 4?
You've let me down. I'm going 4, mate, with an assist.
What are we playing? The Price is Right. How many goals can Mo Salah get? And we're going up and up and up.
I'm telling you what, lads. I'm just envisioning Salah going 1-on-1 with Keane. Oh, yes. Sorry. So thank you.
Something with Jack.
I'm like Derek Corner. What's that, Sam?
Please, can someone clip that? Can someone clip that and put it in the chat somewhere?
No one's clipping any of my content. I'll ban you. Wait, what?
I really feel like this music should go doom, doom, doom.
What is it? 6-1 scoreline. Salah getting 4-1. Yeah,
that's weird, man. Because I actually thought 6-1 as well. I was for some reason I've been thinking 6-1 for the last 2 days, and that's what me hurt. But
I got safe then in saying 4-0. I got really safe.
I was going to say 4-0.
You can't say we're going to play as bad as United.
The Ev are not your Man United. At least their players understand what it means to actually run on a football pitch.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go 5-1 to Liverpool. Tom, where are you going? 6-1 to Liverpool.
I'll say you've changed your tune since yesterday, haven't you?
That's fake news. What did you think?
Wait, I'll go back and I'm going to clip everything and I'm going to keep it in a book. Let's put it that way.
I'll bookmark your championship fixtures on Sky next week.
My heart, like I said yesterday, I want 1-0 for Everton, but personally it's going to be, or Cameroon on me.
Say it with
Jess,
how many years?
I want to be respectfully and say 3-1 to use to win. For use.
Oh no. That pain, Tom. It's all right. You should have heard him this week. I don't know if that's it. Wait, what? No, I don't go. He's a good lad, Tom. Anyway, Spider score prediction, lad. Chat.
As I said, my heart wants to say the 6-1 because Everton might nick one. Yeah. The last game that I was at Anfield before all the pandemic hit was the 5-2. they scored when they didn't even look like they were going to score. You know, I even get a touch in the game.
Just before half time, that one, it makes me.
Yeah. So you know, it was a weird game, but you know, but I would love to come out of this game, you know,
just 3 points.
No, with 3 points. But just adding to Rush's song and just say more scored 1, more scored 2, more scored 3.
More scored 4. No.
So
all you need is Mo.
Yeah. But you know, as much as we think that Mo's going to score, he could score too. The surprise is how can they handle Diaz if he plays? Because I think Diaz could tear that defense apart.
Coleman. It's been bad enough, Coleman, coming up against Matt. Matt was he was playing left wing for United, Rashford. Yeah. Tommy, are you looking forward to that?
No chance.
Yeah, go ahead, Spider.
Yeah, no, it's just that's if Diaz starts tonight, because as I said, I would love to see Bobby starting. You know, I love Bobby. I know, as I said, he was my favorite player, but as a character on the team, you know, Bobby is in my heart as well. You know, he's in everybody's heart. So, you know, what a player to come out of. Do we even know what kind of player Bobby is as Liverpool fans? We never have. We know he's the best false nine in the world, but you just don't know what you're going to get. But the one thing you know you're going to get is the weirdest celebrations you're ever going to see in your life. But at the same time, you know, I think it could be a high scoring game if we score early. If we score early and we follow it up, the same as what we did against United, you know, within a 10-minute period, scored a second, I think that they'll drop their heads. And I know they've been better in the second half of their games. Actually, Tom alluded to that earlier, that they've been better in the second half of their games as they stay within touching distance. But it could be very similar to United or City at the weekend, where if we go ahead by a couple of goals, they'll just crumble. They won't even come out, you know, the second half of the head thinking they're going to do anything. But, you know, I would love...
You're getting clipped. You'll be getting clipped by Tom.
You're all getting clipped, George.
Yeah, so look, my heart says 6-0. Clip that, right? My heart says 6-0.
Yeah, well, yeah.
My head says, you know, Everton tried to put up a fight and 3-1. As the same as Tom, really. So yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Mate. It all depends, doesn't it, Tom, as we've already said at the top of the show, how Everton approach this game. As good as Liverpool play, if they come out, if you go toe-to-toe for Liverpool, I think that will help massively Liverpool in terms of, especially if they get... I'm just hoping it's just a better game than what United give us. Obviously, as long as Liverpool get all 3 points, that's the most important thing. But it's just, as I said, was it last night or the night before? Hindsight will be interesting after the game, how Everton do approach it. But I'm expecting more of a bigger fight from Newcastle than Manchester United and Everton combined. I think that Newcastle game will be a much harder game. Fingers crossed, I'm right, but it's going to be interesting. But as Watford Dinner said there, fantastic panel tonight, Jack, Spider, Connor, and massive respect to Tom. 100%, mate. Mods and chat. Many thanks. You'll never walk alone. May the best team win on Sunday as well. 100% agree with you there, mate. He's good sport, Tom. And that's the thing, as we said at the top of the show, there's bitters from both sides. And obviously, but what Liverpool and Merseyside, most importantly, stands for is unity, really. Everton through what the city has gone through, most importantly. But love and respect for Liverpool and Everton from both sides as well. But you get the occasional knobhead from both teams anyway. But don't focus too much on those people. Focusing on the good, respectful Reds and Blues anyway. 3-0, Eamon's gone with for the Mighty Reds. Evening all, how you doing, Mike? Thank you very much for coming on the show with me and Spider last night, mate. I know. Was it the night before, Spider? We've done that many bloody shows.
Yeah. That was the United aftermath, wasn't it?
Yeah, good sport. Speaking of good sports, Mike, he was good. Right? Yeah. Me and Spider were waiting.
Yeah, so look.
Yes. So Scouts has gone with 2-0. The Burnley result panics them into a massive victory. Matip and Allison own goal. Bloody hell. Yeah, 2-0 to the Ev. Yeah, thank you very much, Scouts, for tuning in, mate. Obviously, big supporter as well. Yeah, Mike's saying big up Spider as well. Jack, need to see our Tom on the live watch along. Need to tie him to a chair so we can escape the camera. It will be watching a new Saw film. So much fame delivered by the Mo fella 6-1. Oh no. I've tended to not do live stream watch alongs as well, obviously, until I get properly the footy on in my room. I've got it downstairs anyway, but obviously me watching, I watch it on Now TV, which is kind of behind. And obviously a couple of you are watching on cable television, even if you're in Australia, or you probably get it a lot quicker than I do on the streams. And obviously, so there is people that not intentionally put it in the chat, oh, Liverpool have scored. And then when we're watching it, they were like, oh.
Happens to me all the time. What I tend to do is I try to get the chat to, which is probably, I don't know if it's just me,
latency or latency.
Yeah, no, it's a latency thing, but I tell everybody to kind of sync up together, and I say whatever I'm saying, you're seeing it about 2 seconds after me. So if I start going 3, 2, already press it, that kind of it. So we'll all watch it together at the same time on the same stream because I use the dodgy apps.
That Spider's channel getting knocked down. Wait,
I'm clipping that one as well.
It's IPTV.
Get out, Tom. Wait,
I use IPTV. I never. Jesus, no TV and all that shit.
It's different I was speaking to Dave when I spoke to Dave. Is it different in Ireland in terms of do you get like all the footy like streamed to like through to the telly and that or?
Oh, yeah, do you know, in Ireland, like we get the same Sky Sports and all of you as that, but we also have like Premier Sports and Virgin Media One that gets some of the games as well. So there used to be a thing where for like 2 seasons straight, where the Irish channels got every 3:00 kickoff at one point, which was great, like But no, like we don't have Sky boxes right like that inside in here. I never have, so I get this service. Where it comes to an app on the TV, and I'm happy out, so it's great. So it's paid for completely legally to a company.
But thank you very much to Spider, Connor, and most importantly Tom for giving his perspective. I know it's not been the best result, but it would be an interesting side to say the
Tom,
least.
do you recognise this? Sorry, buddy.
What's that?
Back. That's his tissue from the last time.
Oh, is that like?
Wait there. I'm gonna get this right. I'll take it.
It looks like a lens cleaner, lad.
Actual lens cleaner.
What is it for the? I was gonna say, Tom, do you wear glasses?
Just. Oh yeah. Nah, it's only these ones. When I'm too close to the TV, the more I don't need glasses. I've got. Good eyes, me lads.
It's probably quite fortunate that you're not watching the shite results that Everton have had. So, but yeah, Tom, thank you very much for being an amazing sport and a good mate of mine. Anyway, known Tom.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So many years. Anyway, used to look after me, still looks after me. Anyway, all the lads I know of you look after me.
Yeah, across the world as well, lads.
Yeah, I need it. You all know that. Tom, thank you for being an amazing sport, mate. And
thank you.
Where can people find you anyway, if you want to check it out, or if people want to get you on for their pre-match or post-match shows anyway?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, which is just Tom May. Instagram, Tom May01. If you want to send me a Snapchat, see what you're up to these days, Tom May01. I don't touch Twitter. I don't touch Twitter. Twitter's poison. The amount of stuff that you see on there, I got rid of that years ago. So, but yeah,
after a derby loss.
Well, not just that, but I've seen some disgusting things on there.
Disgusting shite, lads, isn't it? But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Make sure everyone adds him on Snapchat when we're 6-0 up.
Phone's getting turned off, mate.
Why is it not getting delivered? Oh yeah, but nice one, lad. Appreciate it, matey. Spider, just shout out your channel and where people can find you and what content you've got coming up. Are you doing a live stream watch along, mate?
Yeah, I'll do one, all right, and we Jack, me and you will have to set one up where we're kind of independent or something like that. We'll have to do something like that. Definitely, because I think the other Kev is going to come to me on Sunday. So lads, I know you haven't met him, But I have another cave that does a show up me called the Kitman.
Have you got him in the cellar, lads?
He's just there somewhere. Do you know, he's my imaginary friend. He just sits there next to me for most things. Look. But my own channel is Spider LFC. I do a lot of content for Liverpool based on that channel. In the Kitman, there's a lot more comedy stuff, and most of the stuff that I'm well known for is gaming stuff. So because I'm the Irish Spider guy on Twitch. I've got about 4,000 followers there, so they come in and watch me most nights play a lot of shite and talk a lot of shite and then get drunk doing it. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, make sure you do drop in. Hopefully, me and Tom and Con, you don't like really Call of Duty, do you? You give it one game and then you like.
No, but I'm not Call of Duty tonight. It's going to be escape rooms. So I'm going in and it's all like getting out of escape rooms while getting drunk. So that should be fun.
Is that what's the
nice.
Goodison Park trying to get out of at half time?
Oh yeah, just bring an axe because it's made of wood.
Good. Special map is Goodison or Old Trafford. Anfield, an expansion pack of Anfield at half time when the mics were getting battered.
It's called a lemon pack full of bitters.
They go around carrying the cross trying to exorcism Rafa out of Goodison.
Still having flashbacks of the gravy tits anyway, Sam Allardyce being in charge.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Connor, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Obviously, I did do a show with Connor. Just shout out that episode, mate, and what you've got planned coming up and where people can find you, matey.
So yeah, thank you very much. The reason why I don't like playing COD is because I'm carrying Jack on my back too much. Wait, what?
Wow.
That never happens. That's very fake news. I'm going to go big screen. I am probably one of the best COD players out there. But sadly, I'm a sports YouTuber anyway, Liverpool content. But yeah, get Connor back in there. Yeah, Connor, where can people find you? We'll start again.
Why? Like, but yeah.
Well, for.
Well, to be fair, if anyone does know, like, it's usually Jack goes about like 10 yards in front and say, "Where's everyone?" when he's getting shot at. So that's Call of Duty for us. But no, the Cop Council, mate, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok as well. Don't worry, I'm not doing TikTok dances. Well, I'll do it
when you get 500 followers or something.
I'll pay money for that, Connor. I want you to dance.
Hey, Tom, if it's 10-0 Liverpool, I will. So there we go. But no,
dance for me.
I was going to say, it's past the watershed. We can mention certain websites.
That's not true. But no, YouTube, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter as well. Yeah, doing post-match shows as well. Did a little video earlier on talking about a new signing potentially for Liverpool as well. So yeah, if you guys want to come and check us out, much appreciated. But yeah, thanks for having us on.
Absolute pleasure as always, boys. Hey, that's my OCD. Tom was over there. But yeah, low. Yeah. Rubbing Connor's head there. Yeah. There you go. That's a perfect time to answer the question. It's always a good crack with the boys, and most importantly, every single one is tuning in. Absolute legends. Gary's gone with 15-0, mate. If that actually happens,
oh wow!
Like, mate, the whole world would explode, and I think it'd be the end of time if that actually happens. Salah would break the Premier League record for scoring all 15. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Spider, Tom, and Jack, and mods, all you LFC legends. I think everyone's just laughing anyway. Evening legends and Tom Statman, absolute legend. Steve's gone with a 5-0 operation, 100 goals. Let's see if we can grab the second 17 needed over the last 6 games. Oh, it's gonna be a bit mad in it. Wow, that was awesome. How do you do that? Which as I say, does Jota start against the Toffees? Ravi, I think it depends on you. Ask for me, I've went with Bobby, but I don't think any of us have any qualms in terms of Jota. It's the beauty of having the 5, and then we spoke about Divock Origi as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Div played, because we all know how good his record is. Ravi's gone with a 5-0, and Majok, he's gone with a 6-0 to the Reds. Absolutely love it, matey. And most importantly, if you are new around here, Reds as well, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Follow all the lads on all their socials as well, most importantly. Drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed tonight's show. You're absolute bloody legends. And everyone, have a lovely rest of your night. Obviously, it's nearly the weekend. Try and enjoy it. One more day until the weekend, so we'll still have another Friday, but we'll have another Friday show out tomorrow. But Reds, have a lovely rest of your night. And boys, as always, thank you for tuning in. Every single one of you, boys and girls, have a lovely rest of your night. And we'll see you tomorrow for another episode. You like that, Con? See you later, Reds.
Shut up and sit down.